As principal of Faribault High School, I'm honored to welcome our veterans and current military personnel into our building and to continue our tradition of our Veterans Day program, hosted by our Minnesota Honor Society. Faribault High School proudly supports our veterans and active military personnel. We are thankful for their sacrifices for us, for protecting our way of life, and our freedoms that we hold so dear. Thank you, veterans and active military personnel. Our Mistress of Ceremonies today is Madeline Weehee, who will be leading us through our Veterans Day program.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Madeline Way, and I would like to welcome you to our Veterans Day Assembly today. A veteran is any person who has served or is currently serving in the United States Armed Forces. Veterans are courageous, brave, and inspiring individuals. We are honored to live beside veterans on a daily basis. If you get a chance, be sure to thank these people today, or any day, for their service to our country. At this time, I would like to welcome the American Legion Post 43 to post our nation's colors. Please rise.
Right face. Post colors. Present arms. Order arms. Right face. A word heart.
Thank you, American Legion. When Francis Scott Key wrote the Star-Spangled Banner 200 years ago, he called America the land of the free and the home of the brave. However, America has not always been free. The freedoms we enjoy today are a result of the sacrifice of many veterans who have dedicated their lives to our country by serving in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, and Coast Guard. We can never repay the debt we owe to the brave individuals who gave their lives so we could have a better one. What we can do is take the time to recognize the over 21 million veterans that are still with us. Thank you to all the veterans for making the United States the land of the free and the home of the brave. The music department will now lead us in our national anthem. Our speaker today is retired Lieutenant Colonel Jerry Paschke. Jerry served with the Army for 30 years. Please join me in welcoming Jerry Paschke.
This badge I have on, I wore when I was teaching military justice at the Military Intelligence School at Fort Huachuca, Arizona. And you thought the military did not have intelligence or justice. Thank you for allowing me to speak to you this morning. I'm very impressed at this assembly that you have here at Faribault High School. I only ask that you keep doing it. It's a great way to remember and honor all those who have served this country through its existence. I went to high school in the early 1980s, and there were no assemblies like this one when I went through high school. We vaguely knew what Veterans Day was, but didn't make a big deal about it. As a country, we were still stinging from the Vietnam War, the Iran hostage crisis, and the Russians invading Afghanistan in 1979. The military was not well liked back then. Then people got scared that we were going back to war when President Reagan signed the Selective Service Law in 1982, requiring all men ages 18 to 25 to register for the draft. It was not a great time for the military or the country. Since then, there have been the Gulf War, 9/11, the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, and many other engagements around the world. Our service members have bravely and successfully tackled all of these challenges, keeping our country safe and free. And since then, our country has done a much better job recognizing the efforts of our brave men and women. Let's continue those recognitions here at Faribault High School and around the country. I was an Army lawyer. So you're wondering, what does an Army lawyer do? In other words, a JAG. Now, JAG stands for Judge Advocate General. Besides teaching, for much of my career, I served on two fronts. One was to get soldiers ready to go into harm's way, and the other was to help commanders discipline soldiers who cause trouble. First, imagine you were in this gym with a whole bunch of other soldiers in line at a whole bunch of stations, going through an SRP, a Soldier Readiness Program. During this process, soldiers are standing in line getting their medical records checked and updated, getting their personnel records checked and updated, and then coming to see me. My job was to make sure that these soldiers had their legal affairs taken care of before they went off to their duty stations. That means making sure they had a way to pay their bills, take care of their children and pets, and take care of other personal and financial affairs while they were gone. Some of these tasks required completing powers of attorney, so soldiers could have somebody else take care of these tasks. For instance, take their children out of school to go to the doctor as necessary. Others may have required me to hand out forms to soldiers so somebody else could sign their tax forms and prepare their tax forms while they were gone. I also counseled soldiers on what they needed to do to get their jobs back when they returned, and how to get their interest rates reduced while they were on some of their loans while they were gone. Finally, and more somberly, I helped prepare soldiers for the possibility that they would not come back. I coached them through how to structure their assets, or how to structure their affairs so their wishes regarding their assets and their families would be satisfied, would be carried out in that situation. Then I would write and execute wills, make sure their life insurance policies were designated to correct people, and make sure their documents were in order so that those soldiers' wishes could be carried out as they wanted them to be carried out. In a typical day, I would see about 200 soldiers, execute about 15 to 20 powers of attorney, about 20 to 25 wills, and hand out countless forms to soldiers on a variety of legal topics. Though I am licensed to practice law in Minnesota, I was able to complete the execution of legal documents that were valid in 49 states, Louisiana being the lone exception. At the end of the day, the soldiers could go off to their duty stations knowing that their legal affairs were taken care of. The other front was taking care of the bad actors in the Army. It was my job to help commanders properly discipline these soldiers and sometimes kicking them out of the Army when necessary. One soldier we kicked out of the Army Reserves for using cocaine. He was entitled to a separation board. In other words, he could plead his case to say he could stay in. Well, during that separation board, he told us that cocaine helped him sleep at night. And I remember learning about cocaine in health class. I don't remember that it helped you sleep at night. Needless to say, he was kicked out. Then we had a soldier hit another soldier in the head with a beer bottle. When I found out about the incident, I called the battalion commander who gave me this canteen cup, and I asked this commander what he planned to do to the soldier. Commander said, "I'm not going to punish him. This soldier was trying to break up a fight." I said, "Sir, he hit a guy over the head with a beer bottle. That's still a battery." Commander said, he deserves a medal for what he did. I said, "Well, okay, sir, you do have that option. I can't make you punish him." Of course, that was not the end of the story. His boss, a brigade commander, called me and said, "Judge, what's going on down there?" Brigade commander liked calling me Judge. I said, "Well, sir, the battalion commander did not want to punish the soldier. He thought the guy was breaking up a fight and the soldier's actions were valid." Brigade commander said, "What do you think, Judge?" I said, "I think the soldier should be punished." Brigade commander said, "So do I. How do I do it?" I said, "Well, sir, you can take the case and punish him yourself." Brigade commander said, "Okay, give me the case." And I said, "Yes, sir, that's what I'll do." And I made it happen. The soldier's punishment was a loss of a stripe. He was a sergeant, then he became a specialist. He also lost some pay. He did not get his medal. Many people think of Veterans Day as honoring the fighters who fought for our country. And I have great respect for those who did fight for our country and win our nation's wars. And I would not be standing here if it weren't for them. But I want you to broaden your perspective a bit when you think about the veterans who have served. Think about those who were not in direct combat. I once heard that it took 7 soldiers to support 1 combat soldier. I'm not sure how accurate that number is, but think about it for a minute. You have cooks who have to feed that soldier, finance people who have to pay the soldier, doctors, nurses, medics, and dentists who keep that soldier healthy and take care of that soldier when they're injured or sick, chaplains and chaplains' assistants who attend to that soldier's religious needs and spiritual needs, and even perform religious services even in combat zones, mechanics to repair the planes, ships, tanks, trucks, and every other vehicle that the soldiers ride in, engineers who build bridges and roads where there aren't any so the soldiers can transport across them. This list goes on. Every one of these service members deserves to be honored today, the fighters and those who supported them. So today, let's thank them all for their service. And remember that it took all of their efforts to keep our country safe and free. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry, for your continued service and for sharing your story with us. Many of us have grown accustomed to the freedoms that we experience every day. Please do not forget that we have veterans and current members of our military who have fought and will continue to fight for you. We would now like to recognize those staff members and students who have served, currently serve, or will serve our country as a member of the armed forces. These are people you may see around the building at any time. Please feel free to recognize them and thank them for their commitment. As we call your name, please stand and be recognized. Mr. Lyle Olson, Minnesota National Guard. Mr. Don Eitz, United States Army. Mr. Bruce Krinke, United States Army. Mr. Michael Salone, United States Coast Guard. Nicole Jones, Army National Guard. Naomi Pinka, Army National Guard. Kelvin Gutzman, United States Navy. If we did not call your name, but you have served or plan to serve in the military, please stand to be recognized. Thank you to those of you who have served and have committed to serving our country. Each year, the President makes a proclamation for Veterans Day, and the month of November is also known as National Veterans and Military Families Month. Part of the proclamation reads, on November 11th, Americans commemorate the service, sacrifice, and immeasurable contributions of our nation's veterans who have proudly worn our country's uniform to defend and preserve our precious liberty. As we celebrate Veterans Day, we pause to recognize the brave men and women who have fearlessly and faithfully worked to defend the United States and our freedom. Their devotion to duty and patriotism deserves the respect and admiration of our grateful nation each and every day. We are forever thankful for the many heroes among us who have bravely fought around the world to protect us all. Time after time, throughout the history of our republic, veterans have defended our way of life with integrity, dedication, and distinction. In respectful recognition of the contributions our service members have made to advance peace and freedom around the world, Congress has provided that November 11th of each year shall be set aside as a legal public holiday to honor our nation's veterans. As Commander-in-Chief of our heroic armed forces, I humbly thank our veterans and their families for their willingness to answer the call of duty and for their unwavering love of country. Today, we pledge always to fight for those who have fought for us, our veterans, who represent the best of America. They deserve our prayers, our unending support, and our eternal gratitude. As President Trump stated, it is also very important to recognize the families of veterans who are making the sacrifice, along with those of their family members who are actively called to serve our country. Locally, one organization that works to support these families is Beyond the Yellow Ribbon. This organization focuses on creating awareness and connecting service members and their families with community support, training, services, and resources. At this time, I would like to invite Dennis Sherman and Louise Flum from Faribault Chapters Beyond the Yellow Ribbon to the stage. The Minnesota Honor Society would like to present this check as a donation to Beyond the Yellow Ribbon to help them continue their work of supporting veterans and their families.
I want to thank the National Honor Society and you, the students. I worked here for 9 years and worked with you. And there's many, many instances where I was just so proud of what you did for yourselves and for your communities. And this is one of those activities that make me so proud to to be part of who you are and continue to be proud of who you are. Just to give you a little bit of thought about where your donation is going. Sometimes you think about it, we're going to give some money and it'll go somewhere and it'll be doing some good. Today, this donation is going to go to helping a veterans and their family replace a blower in their furnace. That's real. It's also going to go to help a veteran make a major repair to their home that needs to be done before winter really sets in. That's real. You've done a real thing. You've helped somebody today, not just in the future. So, we thank you, and we're proud of you, and we appreciate you.
Please welcome again the music department as they play a tribute to America. To end the program today, we would like to take a moment to remember all the soldiers who lost their lives in the fight for freedom. At this time, please stand and observe a moment of silence. At this time, I would like to thank the American Legion Post 43 for being a part of our assembly today. Please Please remain standing while the American Legion retires the colors at this time.
Word, march. Out. Right, face. Present, arms. Order, arms. Retrieve, colors. Left, face. Forward, march.
On behalf of the Honor Society, I would like to thank you for your respectful attendance at today's program.